few months ago, I posted a video about this Sony SEQ-7011 graphic equalizer, which was about my journey into finding a suitable unit for my home hi-fi setup here. I can only assume that my phone remembered that keyword search from back then because just a few days ago, another graphic equalizer mysteriously popped up on my Facebook marketplace. The price was right, and the seller only lived like 2 miles from me, and what can I say, I have a weakness for these kinds of things. So get ready for some more visual awesomeness, because this video is all about the Kenwood GE-4030 graphic equalizer. If you haven't already seen my video about the Sony equalizer, I'll leave a link in the description area. But as I mentioned, I went on a quest to find a graphic equalizer that had some rather specific criteria that I wanted, which included that it needs to look visually appealing, it must have a spectrum analyzer, not just sliders, it must have both a left and right channel analyzer, and a price that I considered reasonable. Now those parameters helped me narrow my search to these following units here, but interestingly enough, the Kenwood GE-4030 is not actually on this list, though it does meet the criteria of my original search. So let's swap out the Sony for the Kenwood and put it through some of the same tests I performed on the Sony. According to Hi-Fi Engine, the Kenwood GE-4030 was produced between 1991 and 1995 and appears to be a standalone unit that you would purchase individually as opposed to it being a part of a larger integrated monster set. It featured 7 adjustable frequencies, which are 60, 150, and 400 Hz, and 1, 2.4, 6, and 15 kHz. I don't want to turn this into a Sony versus Kenwood equalizer shootout, but I did notice an interesting similarity between the two, and that has to do with their adjustable frequencies. It would appear that these competitors didn't want to copy each other directly, so their adjustable frequencies are ever so slightly different. For instance, the Sony starts at 63 Hz, and the Kenwood starts at 60 Hz. Then 160 versus 150. Looks like they both agree on 400 and 1000, but then diverge again with 2.5 and 2.4, 6.3 and 6, and finally 16 versus 15 kHz. Anyway, I thought that this was interesting. There's probably a good audio reason for this, but I can only assume these were the most commonly adjusted frequencies because of their shared range. Of course, all of these ranges can be adjusted at will by using the left set of buttons. These will adjust for both speakers, while the right set of buttons is to access the 5 preset curves and the 5 manual curves you can store in it. These knobs here adjust the sensitivity of the spectrum analyzer bars, but not the curves themselves. Basically, if the bars are peaking too much, you can lower them by turning these down. Alright, so speaking of range, let's see how accurate these spectrum analyzers are and perform a 20 to 20,000 Hz sweep test. It's swept through each band nicely, but let's see how precise it is. Here's a 400 Hz only test, so if this is accurate, it should only light up the 400 bar. It's interesting that there is a slight bleed through into the neighboring ranges, so I wonder if it's the signal or the analyzer. Again, I'm not trying to do a Sony versus Kenwood video, but I'm curious to know what's going on, and since they both share 400 Hz band, I thought I'd test them together. And what's puzzling is that when there's a signal that passes through the Sony first and then into the Kenwood, the signal appears pure. I'll have to investigate this some more, but something seems to be coloring the tone when played directly through the Kenwood. Anyway, regardless of that quirky signal issue, that's certainly not going to stop me from enjoying some bouncing bars, so let's make them jump. I downloaded some music from the YouTube music library that should do a good job of making this happen. This clearly works great and is in fantastic cosmetic condition, so I'm going to open up to see if it is as clean on the inside as it is on the outside. Opening this up requires the removal of 6 screws, 4 on the sides and 2 on the back, and then of course just slide off the top. As you can see, this one is super clean. I had a can of air handy in case I needed to blow out any dust, but this one didn't need it. Oh, and in case you're wondering, as I do this flyover, that goo isn't a leaking capacitor, it's just adhesive. I am looking for leaking or bulging caps while I have this open, but I don't see anything that's cause for alarm. Let me show you the reverse flyover now, and I can't say that I've ever seen a circuit board shelf like this one, but it's definitely a cool design. Again, I don't see anything wrong here, so that's good news. With all that out of the way, the only question left to answer is, how does it sound? And yes, it sounds great. It really brings out the best in the speakers. I'm honestly not sure what I'm going to do with this Kenwood equalizer, though, because I was already set up with my Sony. Now, these do look cool stacked like this, but the more I think about it, I'm considering assembling a different hi-fi system for another room in my house. So as unlikely a place to start, this might be the first piece of that new system. So this ended up being quite a pleasant surprise that showed up in my marketplace feed. And now I have double the nostalgia back in my life, with another visually pleasing and fun to watch bouncing bar graphic equalizer, the Kenwood GE-4030. If you like what you saw, please consider liking and subscribing. Thanks for watching.